Have you ever seen the release of a new product and hoped not a lot of things changed? Today I have the new Huion Inspiroy Frego, a pen tablet with a minimalistic approach. How does it perform? Well, I'm going to let you know in just a minute. The Frego is a pen tablet, which means it connects to a host computer. That could be a PC, laptop, your phone, or even your tablet. In the box, you'll get some instructions, 10 spare nibs, a nib remover, and a USB-C to USB-A connectivity or charging cord. This rounds out your nice bit of kit. The Frego is super thin and rounded down and contoured towards the front for better ergonomics. Gives your palms a little place to rest. From left to right, we have our power button, our Bluetooth sync, and a USB-C port for charging or connection. The USB-A side goes into your host computer. The back has 4 pads to prevent it from slipping, and a nifty little pen holder along the top. I'm John, and when I'm not doing YouTube, I save dolphins from people who stuff them in the refrigerators. You think that's right? But to continue on, I'm gonna need you to like this video. The PW550S is a slim pen, slightly shorter than previous Huion pens, 2 programmable buttons. The rubber grip of old is replaced with a slightly textured plastic that runs along the entire barrel. While there is no eraser in the back, I like the light weight and the overall feel of the pen in your hand. Let's see how it makes out when we test it for performance. New with this pen, at least to me, are the addition of felt tips, which really add to that paper-like feel I've drawn on paper. I use this nib for the majority of this review. To swap nibs, take the nib remover, clamp the nib, and pull it out. Just be careful to not push those nibs in too deep. As this is a relatively new pen to the Huion lineup, it's important to call out the difference to previous iterations. Now this PW550S is backwards compatible with a number of other models. This includes pen displays. I'll link all that down below if you're interested. The specs on this are relatively unchanged. Pen pressure, 8,192 levels, tilt support at 60 degrees, although only featured on the M model. The sensing height is 10 millimeters. The PenTech 3.0 Plus is slightly augmented in the length of the pen nib, allegedly providing increased accuracy, less parallax, and an improved initial activation force. To see if these claims hold up, I put this pen and the tablet through some rigorous testing. First in Photoshop, with a hard round brush, and no smoothing or anything like that turned on. The results were honestly pretty impressive. Huion has basically gotten rid of the majority of any line wobble on slow diagonal strokes. It isn't perfect, but in your day-to-day drawing experience, you're very unlikely to be taking a ruler and doing these slow strokes like this. We're in Critter now, testing the pen pressure, and there's a couple of things I'm looking for when I do these lines. One is how light it is, which is really a test of that initial activation force, and then basically the gradient I get between a light press, a medium press, and a hard press. As you can see, we have a great gradient here. And moving on to the G pen, these long strokes are all about consistency in the line. Even when I wiggle them, the pressure is remaining consistent throughout. At the end of the strokes, I'm looking for any shoelace effects and I don't see any. The taper off, going from different pressure levels on the wiggly lines to a straight stroke out, look great to me. When I move the circles, it's to see if the pen pressure remains consistent when I'm not just doing a straight line. I get a similar, great result here. These ellipses are quick, but they're pretty consistent as I start out light, I move to medium pressure, and then finally I'm pressing down hard and I let up at a taper. Again, no shoelace effects. Huion specs say there's a higher PPS when the device is wired than over Bluetooth. I've done this entire review over Bluetooth, and I do multiple tests and multiple apps with really quick strokes to see if the pen can keep up. I didn't experience any lag over Bluetooth, moving the pen at high speeds. The strokes did exactly what I expect them to do on screen. The final tests I do are really around the tilt. I want to make sure in multiple apps that the tilt is registering the way I expect it to. This app is called Expressi. It's a paint app, and I like it because it's very easy to show you guys what I'm experiencing. When the pen is upright, I get more of a thin stroke. As soon as I tilt it, it's more like a blend. The same could be said for Clip Studio Paint. My tilt-enabled pencil here gives me a nice thin stroke, and then as soon as I tilt it, I can shade almost like I can with a normal pencil. Either way, after testing with 4 different apps, I'm ready to move to the next step. In the intro, when I said I hoped nothing would change, what I was referring to is their pen pressure. With the minimalistic approach they took here, what they did was, they gave you a great tablet. However, They took off things like the dials and express keys you might be familiar with or used to from other Inspiroy models. I personally like the idea because if you're used to a keyboard or you have a shortcut key device of some type, you're used to that workflow already, hence you're probably not going to use this anyway. Now the main difference between the two models is actually the size and weight, but as mentioned, the S model does not feature tilt on the pen. I'm not sure why, it's a bit of an odd conclusion honestly. Both share the same Bluetooth 5.0, average battery life of 24 hours, and they'll go into sleep mode at about 15 minutes to save the battery. Now, you know what that Bluetooth gets you? It gets you connectivity to your phone and tablet. Huion partnered with Huion, I think, which is what you're seeing on the screen now. You pair the Frego through Bluetooth to your device of choice, but then in the app itself, you actually link the device, sort of like its own pairing mode. It literally took me just a couple minutes to get it working, and as you can see, I've got pressure and everything. The second app that I found that works is IBIS X Paint. I'd opt for the paid version so you can avoid all the ads, but once again, the pressure worked flawlessly. Although I didn't film it because I was using this phone to film my video, I did test this on my iPhone 15 Pro. It's a perfect pairing on the go if you have a decent large screen tablet and either you don't have pen pressure or you're just looking for a better option to use the screen on your phone and tablet more traditionally. Adding to Bluetooth is a piece of cake. As long as that blue light is blinking, your device of choice should pick it up. On Windows, if you're having a problem, turn on this advanced feature in the Bluetooth settings. That should resolve anything in terms of picking the device up. Once we see the Inspiroy, we just click on it, and that's pretty much a done deal. The driver is pretty mature at this point. You have your options to customize your working area, as well as rotate the tablet if you're left-handed. The pen buttons are customizable, and this is where you can customize your sensitivity. You've got options for multiple application profiles and the ability to export them if you want to back them up. Finally, in the software diagnosis section, you can enable WinTab if you have any problems with pen pressure. I did enable WinTab for Photoshop, and then that checkbox down the bottom will allow WinTab to work for all your other applications. You'll still need to go in the application and enable it there. At least there's an option if Windows Ink is acting funny. This is what I found interesting. On prior Huion models, I always tweaked the pen pressure a little bit. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it, it's just I like to tweak it. What I found with this model is their promise of additional accuracy and etc. with the PenTech 3.0 Plus is that I didn't have to tune the pen at all, or at least I didn't want to. So that means out of the box, it's already really accurate. Uncharacteristically, I actually liked using this with my iPhone. That's something I've only did with like testing and stuff like that, and obviously with my iPad, I'm used to using the Apple Pencil, so it's something I just never thought of before. But I like the idea for people who primarily use their phone as an art device. Stick this in your laptop bag and you're always ready to go. If you're in a market for a tablet with not a lot of extra bells and whistles, but good, solid, excellent pen performance, give it a look. And if you're interested in any of the other Inspiroy models that I might have reviewed, I'll keep some links down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.